So what's next for Felix the First?
A bunch more videos. Literally, we're trying to drop every single month this year. I'm trying to do a track a year, a track a month. That's going to be exciting. I'm trying to do a video with each one. And like I said before, it's just kind of like, I'm just excited to grow in front of people, do you know what I mean? Because I'm not ashamed to change musically in front of people. And all of my favourite artists, like I said before, Tyler Creator is like one of my biggest inspirations. People literally saw him grow up in front of their eyes. And I think that's one piece of advice that Mali gave me first time I recorded with him. He was like, bro, don't be scared. Like, you need to release, you need to grow. Like, you're not gonna grow unless you release.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today it is my absolute pleasure to be hosting Felix the First.
Outside, feel me?
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having
How
me.
are you today?
I'm lit. It's lit.
Yeah?
It's 12, got the juice, feel me?
Videos dropped, 2 wardrobes.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So let's just give our audience a bit of a feel about you, age, background, where you're from.
I'm 21 years old. I'm from West London. And yeah, I used to be I feel like I've been like in the entertainment industry since I was like around 15. I was full-time dancing at 15, and then I started doing professional dancing at 16. And then literally only fully retired, like stopped doing that like last year. And now full-time musicians, you know what I mean?
I love that.
That's what we're doing.
So how did you get in? How did your dance career start off?
Basically, it was a thing of, I didn't even really know, you know. I was literally just good at stuff. So if I find something I'm good at, I kind of like get attached to it. And I saw that I was good at dancing. So literally one day I was just like, yo, mum, I really want to do this. And then like both my mum and my dad really supported it. They put me forward for like a bunch of stage schools and stuff. And then I started auditioning, got in. But then I kind of like, because I'm just like a chatty child, like I was just a bit buggy in it. So in my lessons, I would like refuse to dance, even though I wanted to be a dancer. It was mad weird. And then only until I went outside of school and did like open classes and like met people that I'm close with now, that's when I realized, yo, this could be like a full-time career. And I just started pursuing it, saw people around me working and thought, okay, cool. So then by the time I hit 16 and I was doing college, around halfway through first year, I got offered like a dance opportunity, and I said, yeah, I'd rather tour than stress about my like exams. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I chose
feel
that.
It's amazing. A lot of people usually struggle with like their family and friends saying, "Oh, get a real job" and all this stuff. Who would you mentioned your mum and dad, but who would you say in your family is the most supportive of your career?
The most. I think
Why?
I was about to say, I have to say it to my mum. It's not even, I don't even know why. It's not, I wouldn't even say it's a thing of like she's more supportive of everyone else. She's just the most vocal. It's like, bro, like we would literally be on a holiday. When I was with Marley, we was being in LA. My mom would literally be hitting me up like, oh, are you busy? Are you in the studio? People interested? Is this happening? Same with dance. It's like anything that she could do, or same with my dad, anything they could do to put me in the right room or put me in a position where I could do this. It's like they'd always be for it. It would never be a thing of like, they'd let me know their doubts in terms of like, can I sustain this as a career? But any opportunity they could to like push me and make it possible, they would do it. So I feel like, yeah, definitely my parents, but my mum specifically, she's literally like me. She doesn't stop talking.
Love
she makes it very clear. Do you know what I mean?
And who would you say, if you have one, like your least supportive person in your life?
Least?
And why? Yeah.
Myself, you know, not even in a bad way. I feel like I'm very supportive, but I'm very critical of myself as well. So I wouldn't say anyone. There's especially no one around me specifically that doesn't believe in me. I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah, I love that.
But with me, I'm just so critical in terms of, with dance, I really prided myself on being one of the best at it. Do you know what I mean? So it was something that I felt comfortable, I felt confident in. And the reason I love music is because I'm not one of the best. Do you know what I mean? It's something that I always wanted to do. I learned to dance because I couldn't make music. And the fact that I'm not the best at music makes me love it even more, makes me want it even more. Because with dance, it in the most humble way possible, it always came easy, it always came naturally. So it was like, I can do this. This is fun. But with music, I have to
work.
try. I have to go home. I have to think. I have to use inspiration around me. I have to sit there and focus and write. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I love the challenge. So I think I'm my biggest hater, but at the same time, it's the best thing. Do you know what I mean? So I need to do.
So, as a child, you know, you said you're into dance, music. What else did you enjoy or still enjoy now? Like, you know, just get a bit of your personality, what you're up to.
Gaming.
Yeah.
Love gaming.
What are you playing?
I love NBA. I don't know why. Because, like, I'm not that sporty. But, literally, I stay up like, every night fucking playing basketball and recording music at the exact same time. I don't know how. I literally just mute my mic, mute the TV, play, and then just record at the exact same time. Because it's just like
I've never heard this.
It's a mad, like, nice distraction. Because the game is like, I don't have to focus too much on what's going on. I'm just running up and down, blocking and shooting. So I'll just be doing that and then, like, recording at the exact same time. And it's just a good way for me to kind of not think too much about what I'm actually saying while recording. But it's like, I don't know how to explain it. You know when you're like not thinking and it's your best work because it's so unfiltered. It's just natural off the top. When I'm doing something else and I can just do that, that's when I feel like it's the most organic.
Not by force.
Yeah. And all of my favourite songs, literally every single song I've ever made has started with a freestyle. There's never been a song that hasn't. So I feel like at home, that's where all my ideas come from.
Amazing. Who is your musical inspiration? Like, who did you listen to when you were growing up?
That's the thing, it's so vague because in my house there's been loads of music always. There's lots of hip hop, lots of drum and bass, lots of house, lots of grime, lots of R&B. But for me personally, when I had the decision and the choice to decide what I wanted to listen to myself and like get my own little Spotify account and all these little SoundCloud accounts and that, the people that inspired me creatively was like Amy Winehouse and like Drake's always been one of my favorite artists, and Michael Jackson and people like that. But the artist that made me want to make music, it was completely different. It was really later in my life. It was like around when I hit like 15, 16 is when I fully took in the scene. And it was like, yo, when I first heard like House of Pharaohs, because of all my friends, a lot of my like older friends they went to Brit, and a lot of them knew a lot of the guys. So all the time, you know, when you have a friend and their friend is just hard at music, you'd be like, oh, cool, so that's my brethren too. Like, I'm supporting it as well. So it was a thing of, at 15, I'd be flexing with their tracks. And then I was like, yo, this is mad. Like, they sound like me. It was someone who's representing the UK, and they're not just the typical, I loved grime, loved it, but that's something that I heard so much that it was like, I want to hear something different. So as soon as I heard that HOP style, and then the same with Lancey, I was like, yo, these lot are on some different stuff. And then you take in Loyal Khan and you take in A2, those were like the UK sounds that made me go, okay, like, I don't want to just be a consumer anymore. Like, I want to provide, like, I want to become a musician. So I think literally after I fully like dove into SoundCloud, took in, there was the American scene, there's loads of American artists that would inspire me, but when I took in the UK scene, that's when I realised I can do what they do as well. And that's when I feel like it fully switched. And I was like, yo, I'm trying to make music. So the main influences were House of Pharaohs, Lancey, Rex Orange County does a lot of indie with King Cruel as well. I'm trying to think who made me go, yo, like, and Carti, Playboy Carti, he's like the American big influence. But if I had to do top 5, it would be Drake, Tyler the Creator, Carti, House of Pharaohs, and Lancey. They were the people that like made me want to make music fully.
See, I feel like out of all them artists, like your music is just in its own lane. Like I see you as a very unique creative person. Where do you get your aesthetic and your style from? Like face paint, like that's all the fits. Where does that come from?
It's mad because it was annoying at one point, yeah, because it's like I've always been self-expressive. I've always done my own thing, but it hit a point when it was like, it sounds so. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, of course you can.
It sounds so fucking corny when people say it, yeah. But it's like, I was doing certain things before they were like cool, and then it became cool, and I was like, okay, cool. It's like validation, even if you need it. But it's like I've always just loved like all black. I've loved being like that punk-inspired look and that rock look. I've loved like rock stars, even though sometimes I find it really jarring when the rappers say they're a rock star when they just wear leather jeans.
They're not.
And
Yeah,
stuff.
they're not.
But there's some people that literally like they still embody that energy. Like Lancey, he's a rock star for me as well. Same with Uzi and Carti. Do you know what I mean? But it's like I just always gave that energy. I feel like maybe at a young age I took influence from like Tyler the Creator heavily in that skate sort of scene in fashion. But in terms of like face paint and expression, it came from wrestling, which is mad random. Mad random. Like I used to love Jeff Hardy. And he was just like, I don't even remember what he called himself. It was like the something enigma or some charismatic enigma or something. He did some mad shit. But he used to just go out with mad face paint every day. And it was like people couldn't really read his expression. They really know how he was acting. Or like with Kiss, the band, the rock band, or with Sting, another wrestler. There were so many wrestlers that would do it. And I was just like, yo, this is just lit. Like no one's doing it. It's cool as fuck. And then I just kind of like, I loved Halloween. I loved dressing up. I loved being a different character. Do you know what I mean? I just used it as an excuse to just live out all my like deepest little fantasies and shit. So then when I had the opportunity to just be an artist, I was like, yo, bruv. At first, the idea was to have like a super sort of like eye mask. Like it was like a face mask. So it's like, just covers my eyes. And it's like white and it's like black, like Robin or something. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. But then eventually I was like, nah. I need to do face paint. And recently, it's no shade, but recently...
Who's copying you?
Recently, there's a lot of other artists that have been doing the face paint thing, and people are asking me, am I copying Carti? No, I'm not, bruv. Go on YouTube, yeah, you'll see 2019, 28... Don't take the piss, that's the first thing. But secondly, you know, great minds think alike. But yeah, man, that was just my expression. And maybe one day, there'll be a time when I don't wear makeup. And maybe one day there'll be a time when my whole fucking body will be full of makeup. Do you know what I mean? You won't know, I won't know, so it doesn't really matter.
So, okay, so that is the creation of Felix the First. What's behind the name Felix the First? Why did you choose it?
It's mad. Basically, yeah, it's a thing of, you know when there's like a dickhead name? I don't know how to explain it. You know when someone's like, aye, bruv, like, do I look like Douglas, bruv? Like, am I a dickhead? That's what all my friends used to do, yeah. They used to give each other dickhead names. I don't know why. But, like, one time, anything that would happen to me, people would be like, oh, you're hella paranoid. I'd be like, I'd hear every step in the room. I'd turn around. Anyone whisper something, I'd be like, huh? Anything happens, like, my reflexes are crazy. Someone throws something, I catch it. These are like, you're a cat. You're just a cat. And then we must have walked into Tesco's or something. One of my brethren must have been like, hey, Felix. Like, what are you talking about, bro? And they started creasing because there was the black and white cat, the cat food. They just started creasing. I was like, yeah, Fee, bro. You're Fifi still, Felix. They just kept calling me that. And then one day I just claimed it because it was better than, what did they call me before that? There was something even worse, bro. There was something even worse. They called me Sebastian. They used to call me Seb. They called me Sebastian and I was like, nah, that can't run. So when they started calling me Felix, I was like, this is hard.
This fits me.
Yeah. And my mum always used to say that I was like a little prince. Like, she used to call me a young lord. And I was like, yo, I'm a young lord. But, I already told you about House of Pharaohs. Blaze, he's Blaze YL, so Blaze Young Lord. And I was like, yo, that's his thing. What's my thing? And I was like, I'm still on a royal flex. I was like, I'm the first. I was going to be Felix, like, I. But then I thought people would literally call me Felix I.
Yeah.
So I just called myself Felix the First. Feel me? Just use the par, turn it into something nice.
Love that. Like, I feel like you're just on this wave where like no one can mock you.
Nah, never. I can't lie. I don't think there's anything. I don't take myself serious enough to burn. And secondly, it's like, do you know what I mean? If someone's confident in everything they do, then you can't really say shit ever, like ever. So I think that's the main thing as well from young that I've always realised. It's like, as long as I'm confident in myself, no one's going to question it. Anything
you do, like practices that boost your confidence? Like, how have you become this confident person?
I feel like it helps a lot with dance. A lot of dance, a lot of auditions, a lot of no's, a lot of like opportunities that I've gotten, a lot of opportunities that I missed, changed the way I act in terms of just like, I knew my worth at a young age only because you'd be told, especially in the dance industry, it's a thing of like, if you've held yourself to a certain standard and you train a lot and you audition a lot, you earn a name for yourself, do you know what I mean? And people see you, even at the age of 16, I can't lie, I was moving so mad. At 16, people asked me, how old are you? I'm like, don't worry, So for a whole, from 16 to 18, no one knew how old I was. So a lot of people thought I was 21 when I first did my first dance job. So it was kind of like, I earned that respect for myself. So then when I came into the music stuff, it's kind of like, I didn't seek validation. I didn't really want that respect from other people. And it's like, I always, it's nice, you know what I mean? It's great. The only type sort of respect or validation I need is from my peers, my immediate peers and my family. Because it's like, I don't really care what some random person somewhere else thinks if that's what I totally believe in. Like, if I'm giving something half-hearted for money and someone has an opinion, everyone's entitled to opinion, so I respect that. But if this is something that I've believed in fully, I'm giving my heart, I'm doing it, then I couldn't give a fuck if someone likes it or they don't. I couldn't give a fuck if it hits 1 million or it doesn't, and I couldn't care if it blows or it stays underground forever. Do you know what I mean? That's just
that was one of the questions I was going to ask you in terms of like validation. Are you an artist that constantly watches your streams and your numbers?
Nah.
Like, does that do anything for you?
Nah. I feel like I'm lucky and I'm fucked as well at the same time because I had an amazing moment. Do you know what I mean? I'm blessed for what happened. And the main thing that I can take out of it is it gave me the opportunity to be an artist full time. It gave me the opportunity to retire and dance. That I'll always be grateful for. But it kind of makes things harder because I already set expectations for myself. And then after doing that, it's kind of like, it's not impossible because one day it will happen, but it's gonna be very hard to meet those expectations again. But for myself personally, I'm not really trying to. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always saw it as, and I've always said to my brother as well, it's a thing of like, I just want to stay true to myself. Like, for realist, in all honesty, hand on heart, I didn't even expect the song to do as crazy as it did. I always knew it would be something special, but I thought this was going to be like me earning my stripes in the underground scene. I thought the scene that I always looked up to, the scene that I always wanted to be a part of, I thought this was going to be my moment to just kind of like step in. But instead, it kind of went somewhere else. But I have no problem still starting from the jump. Do you know what I mean? I don't now expect to be this big name or expect that my name holds weight or I'm this artist or that artist because who the fuck are you? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not the point. Like, I'd rather my work speaks for itself. So right now, I know, how do I say this without getting in trouble? There's probably people around me that care about the numbers, but I particularly don't because I know they'll come. And I know it's either going to be a thing of they'll believe in me now and it's going to be lit. In a few years, we're going to cheers. It's going to be lit. We'll have that moment. Or they're going to not believe in me. And in a few years, they're going to burn because it's going to catch up. Do you know what I mean? It's going to happen.
So about the people around you, I'm aware that your big brother Marley's your manager.
Yeah.
So how did you two actually kind of like come together, working together? And what were the initial stages of you doing that transition to music? Like, who were you working with? How did you get into studio? Like, you know, for independent artists who were trying to get into the scene, how did you go about it?
Well, realistically, at first, it was a thing of Marley, he already had another artist, our cousin, that he was managing, and it's a thing of like, I didn't really want to intrude. That's always how I saw it. So I'd ask for help where it was needed in terms of like, yo, can you help me connect with this producer or help me with this engineer? But it was never really like, he was my manager for the first like half. So I was working on a couple tracks, working on a couple ideas, and then just looking around at different management, tried some different people, didn't really work out. But after, I think, my first release, I hit this stage when I was by myself and I was like, Marley was the person that connected me with Finch, the person that produced Own Brand. So it was like, he literally, just in that little open space, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to find some new producers. No one's trying to lock in with me. This is getting long. He was like, cool, I'm going to shout my guy. And he did. We did that song together. And then it was like seamlessly after that session, it slowly kind of just started to become more of like, okay, I'm shouting him, asking him questions about this. I'm shouting him, asking him questions about next engineer. And then eventually it was kind of like, as soon as the song started carrying so much traction and everything started to move, I was like, there's no one else that I'd rather have knock on my door in the morning like, yo, we've got this meeting. Because it doesn't make any sense. I feel like there'd be no other person that would be able to do that job and that would care as much about me. Do you know what I mean? It's not just about the money. They care about the success itself. So it was just like, it was just making that decision and thinking, because so many people say don't mix family and business, but I think that depends on your family. Sounds mad. It sounds mad. I think it depends on their goal, innit? Because if you're money driven, it's going to be very hard. But if you're driven by like legacy and like what comes after, then you don't care as much about the little things right now. Because there'll be a lot of people that like maybe distant family members or friends that I know how they are with their siblings, that I know that they couldn't have this relationship because money's so important for them. But because for us, it was like, we'll know it will come. It was never really a stress. But like literally my first sessions, I remember just sitting at home thinking, cool, going on SoundCloud, looking through every single engineer, every single producer, every House of Pharaohs producer they've ever worked with. I remember messaging Jamo, 199. I remember messaging Honeywood6. I remember messaging Tokyo. And I remember Honeywood6 replied, but I remember I was talking shit. I remember I was talking so much shit. I was like, I don't really make music, but I was wondering if I could like come to the studio. And I just remember talking shit. And I remember he was just kind of just like, yeah. But Tokyo was the only one that was like, all right, cool. Like, what are you saying? And then he took me in. And I went to the studio and he was like, all right, cool. I like this. This is lit. And then after that, it was mad. That same day, the same session, he had Mali, someone I listen to all the time on SoundCloud, and he's a member of House of Pharaohs. He was in the session. He must have heard my song, my first session, and he was like, yo, this is hard, like, I'm trying to hop on it. And I was like, no, you're taking a piss. He was like, yeah. So we recorded that together, and then it was just like this big full circle moment of when he was just kind of like, yo, like, it was kind of not approval, but it was that moment of like, he's like, he could see in myself similarities to his group, do you know what I mean? A lot of the members of House of Pharaohs, because they were the people that I modelled myself after, do you know what I mean? Like AJ and Sam and Blaze and Bandana, a lot of those people I kind of like, before I knew myself, you just kind of imitating them, do you know what I mean? So it was mad to have that sort of like respect. Did the song, obviously because of, I was still dancing full time, we never actually got to release the Two Wardrobes version with Mali on it because it would have come out 2 years ago. And I wasn't ready to release music then. So yeah, that was kind of sad, but it was just really nice to meet him, have that connection. And after that, that gave me confidence. Like, yo, if the people I fuck with the most fuck with me, I can do this. And then since then, just kept that relationship, kept building. And then it just kind of just another producer, and just built from there. But that first initial stage of just finding a producer, finding someone to record with is terrible. It's hard, especially if you don't have music. So I wouldn't even know how to explain to people how to do it properly, but you just need to... I know people say it's jarring, you don't want to look like that guy, but sometimes you just need to send a voice note. Because people hear the reels in a voice note. You can't really... In a text, you're talking shit, but in a voice note, you're like, yo, I'm really serious about music, like, I want to get into it, I'm just having some trouble. People hear it. And if they care about finding untouched talent, or they care about the scene, then...
They'll get it. Yeah. I think that's a really good example of like how you're passionate, you're organic with your art, but you've also been proactive. Because I think a lot of people think, oh, artists just kind of like get things handed on a plate to them. You know, they just kind of get snatched up quick and stuff like that. So I think that was like a really good insight into the actual hustle that goes into getting your
it's just
craft
it's
going
a
out.
lot, because that's what I'm saying, because there's a lot of, even if the main stress was like, the biggest stress for me was finding producers, and then after that, it's finding engineers. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very, people always forget, you can go home, you can write bars on bars on bars on bars, but if you've got nowhere to record it, it's difficult. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like if there was anything that I could change, I wish it could be a little bit easier reaching out to engineers. I feel like someone needs to create like an app or something to hit up engineers and spaces, because that would be sick. But I feel like that just helped add to it. Do you know what I mean? It made me want it even more, and it helped build my connection and my relationship with Jamo Beats. It helped me build my relationship with Tokyo, Mali. It just helped me know myself. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of grateful I went through it.
So from that initial journey, what other kind of words of advice would you give to upcoming artists who were starting out? Like, you know, you mentioned the different managers you tried. Like, what do you think you learned from that?
I think I'd say never rush, because with the previous management, there was even people that would be like, yo, like I was in America auditioning to dance for Justin Bieber, and it was like, that was my career. That's what I was going to do. Do you know what I mean? So I was there, and then back home there was people saying, yo, you need to release music, and I was like, I'm still figuring out myself. And at that time, I have to eat. Do you know what I mean? So I can't afford to just turn down opportunities. So if I got given an opportunity, an audition, I'm gonna take it. Do you know what I mean? But it was a thing of, in that moment, it's so dumb, and I know so many people have told me don't do this, but I don't care because I've done it my whole life. It's like, I don't care about my situation. I care about and it's not even pride or ego. It's just like knowing yourself. And in that moment, I knew I can't release. Like, everyone was like, you need to release now. I was like, I can't release. Mali was like, bro, I don't do features. Like, bro, you need to slap this song out. I was like, my guy, I love you, my bro, but I can't release it yet. I'm not ready to release music yet. And he completely understood. But I think that was the best moment for me, because if I did, the 2 Wardrobes that I just dropped now would have been my first song. And I wouldn't have probably had the studio session. Marley wouldn't have patterned the session to do own brand with Drea. I wouldn't have recorded that. I wouldn't be in music. Do you know what I mean? Like, so many things wouldn't have happened. So I feel like if I could give one advice to somebody that's starting out, it's like, never question yourself. You might always like respect what your managers have to say and the people around you, but never question yourself. Like, if you know it's not time, or you know you're not ready, don't force it, because you're racing against yourself. Like, there's no pressure. There's really no pressure.
That's definitely a gem right there. Was 2 Wardrobes filmed in UK or? Yeah,
it was. The thing is, it was filmed in the UK, but I filmed it just before I went to LA. So it was like, I filmed it in the UK, went to LA, and then was kind of promoting it whilst I was in LA. But then some people kind of thought I filmed it in LA, but I filmed it in the UK. But it was lit. It was lit.
Can you please just give our viewers a bit of an insight into the story behind the video? Because you literally made a movie. We need like the whole review, summary.
Basically, all right, cool. So when I first made that song, it's a bullshit freestyle track of just vibes that I did. But it had like a meaning. Like, when I first made that song, the meaning was kind of just like, I got 2 Wardrobes like Hannah Montana, like, I live a double life. I'm a professional dancer, but I'm making music as well. It's so corny, so fucking corny. But that's literally what I was doing, bro. But I was literally living like Miley Cyrus, like Hannah Montana. Do you get it? So I was living that double life. So when we was doing the video, I was like, yo, I need a sitcom. We need like stage audience. We need to make this read. So it's kind of like the story that I'm kind of portraying in this video. It's kind of like, yo, this is also the point. It's like, I'm also just taking a piss out of everyone. Like, loads of people want to act as if like the stuff that's happened with me is to base with like the industry or like industry plant shit, all this other stuff. So we just said, fuck it. Independently, you know what? We're going to put all our money, we're going to make this video look like a fucking movie. And it's the concept of, I'm like a child star or B+ like celebrity or something. I'm on stage doing some sitcom corny shit, and every single time I come off stage, I start getting more irritated. I'm starting to get more jarred. Like, I'm not really asked.
You kicked a man.
Yeah. I start doing some Disney choreography, some literally, like, I've always said to people, I don't want to dance anymore, really. But in that video, I danced to show that it's like, as an artist, there'll be some things that you don't want to do. And it's like, not a puppet, but it's literally my point of like, this B+ like celebrity is literally trying, so they're doing this to do like to get back in the game sort of shit. So we shot that scene, shot the rest of the scenes, and it's just kind of like, I don't even really know how to explain it. It's kind of just like, it's satire. That's the word. I'm literally just taking the piss kind of out of what people think I am. People think I'm like this industry sort of person that kind of just got put in this position, and I'm like spoilt brat who's like a diva who thinks he deserves all this stuff, and I'm just slowly just falling out of this, just going around in this little circle really. So I'm just playing off that character. But yeah, the video is literally just a live studio audience shooting a sitcom and all the shit that's going on whilst it's happening.
I was just so impressed by it. I was like, this is mad.
Thank you.
So what's next for FelixThe1st?
A bunch more videos. Literally, we're trying to drop every single month this year. I'm trying to do a track a year, a track a month. That's going to be exciting. I'm trying to do a video with each one. And like I said before, it's just kind of like, I'm just excited to grow in front of people, you know what I mean? Because I'm not ashamed to change musically in front of people. And all of my favourite artists, like I said before, Tyler Creator is like one of my biggest inspirations. People literally saw him grow up in front of their eyes. And I think that's one piece of advice that Mali gave me first time I recorded with him. Is he was like, bro, don't be scared. Like, you need to release. You need to grow. Like, you're not going to grow unless you release. And then once he said that, everything just clicked. So this year, you're going to see a lot of growth. You're going to see a lot of recordings. You're going to see a lot of ideas. You need to see a lot of different vibes. You know what I mean? I'm not going to stay in one box because I've never been in a box. And yeah, a lot of movies, and eventually a tape that we've been working on as well. But like I said, we're not rushing anything. Everything's going to happen when it needs to.
Well, I just can't wait to just witness your journey of greatness, FelixThe1st. So would you like to tell our audience where they can find you? Socials?
Hey, FelixThe1st _ on Instagram, Twitter, everything. YouTube, just FelixThe1st, FelixThe1st. TikTok, FelixThe1st. You know the vibes. Out it, baby. You feel me?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.